The Facebook ads copy framework number 2, I've used this framework to build $1 million ads. And it's really powerful. This is a framework that I put together, that I kind of developed. And there's not a lot of people using this out there because, again, I know this because I developed this framework. And it will allow you to create really powerful ads that get clicks, but not only get clicks, but also kind of pre-indoctrinate or pre-educate people before they hit your landing page. So by the time they hit your landing page, they're much more aware, they're much more sold into what you have to offer. And this is a little bit longer. You will end up, if you compare framework 1 with framework 2, you will end up with longer copy on this framework. But this framework is really, really good when you're trying to go into a hard niche, like for instance, I don't know, digital marketing, right? Or when you're trying to get people to register for a webinar, when you're trying to get a highly sophisticated niche or a highly sophisticated person to take an action, all right? So the framework number 1 can be used when you have an audience, right? When you already have an audience or where you're running ads for a local client, or you own a local place and people are not as sophisticated Facebook wise, but this is the Mac Daddy of frameworks. This will allow you to put together ads that are aimed to get a much higher response on higher and more sophisticated marketplace. Okay, so there's 6 steps to these frameworks, and pay close attention. Then we're going to go into a live example, but here's the deal. Facebook ads copy framework number 2. Number 1, we're going to use a specific pattern interrupt. I told you guys at the beginning of the session here that that we're talking about Facebook and Instagram ads. So we need to interrupt people from scrolling. And we're going to use a really specific pattern interrupt. You know, you can talk about like pink elephants if you want to, but it needs to be specific to your marketplace. I'm going to tell you what I mean in a minute, okay? But it needs to be specific to your marketplace. You cannot just say anything here. You need to be specific to your marketplace when it comes to pattern interrupt. Number 2, we're going to segue into a general accusation. Number 3, we're going to tell a story. Number 4, we're going to go into teaching. I do recommend that whatever it is that you're doing, whether it is text ads or video ads, specifically on Facebook and Instagram, you do a little bit of teaching. The reason why is because, again, people are in this frame of mind that they're distracted, and you want to kind of course correct them and start thinking about your products and services and let them know that you are really helpful and you're trying to be cool with them. So by the time they land on your page, they're much more indoctrinated, okay? So teaching is going to be step number 4. Step number 5 is going to be benefits of taking the action that you're trying to make. And then step 6 is going to be a CTA. So let me actually share with you guys 2 examples actually of this framework. So let me actually show you guys 2 examples. So this is an ad that I wrote for Dan Henry in 2018. And this is a $1 million ad. So with this ad alone, with this text that I'm about to share with you, we generated hundreds of thousands of leads to his webinar. Okay, so this is a $1 million ad, and not only because of the framework that we're going to deconstruct the framework, but also because of all of the social proof that it has. So look at this, 5.8 thousand likes, 1.6 thousand comments, 552 shares. We pumped a bunch of volume under this ad because it was working really well. And take a look at this, guys. The framework works so good that this is not even an ad. This is an image ad. So if I click on the ad, it opens the image, right? So this is an image that I posted on Dan's page, and then I wrote this copy, right? And then it's an image ad. It's an image on his page. It's not even an image ad, because an image ad looks like this. It has a button. So if I click here, it goes to the sales page for this product, right? For this course. So this is what an image ad looks, while this is just an image on a page, but it worked really well. So don't get discouraged, don't get overwhelmed or intimidated by the amount of copy. You can make this as long as short as you want, but again, you will end up with, generally speaking, you will end up with longer ads when it comes to applying this second framework, okay? So the first thing of the framework is a general or specific pattern interrupt. So in this case, my pattern interrupt, and this is the first line of copy, by the way, my pattern interrupt is aimed to people that want to get better at advertising, right? I'm going to share with you guys an ad that is working to get people into this program. So my goal is to get people that want to get better at advertising. So what the framework starts saying is, if you want to get better at advertising, you need to change the way you shave. So that's a pattern interrupt right there, because you need to change the way you shave. Like, it doesn't make sense, right? It makes you think, like, what do you mean, right? What do you mean? So if you want to get better at advertising, you need to change the way you shave. It doesn't make sense. But I'm starting with a call out. If you want to get better at advertising, right? So this pattern interrupt is specific to that demographic, to that targeting. Does that make sense? So the other option here is always flip your ads. What does he mean? Like flipping your ads, right? What does it mean? It's like flip my ads. Like, I'm talking about advertising because I'm talking about ads, but flip them. Like, what does that mean, right? So you want to come up with pattern interrupts that are specific to your demographic, but still like stop the pattern, right? So you can say something like, advertising on Facebook seems a lot like riding a pink elephant. And that's your pattern interrupt right there, right? Advertising on Facebook. People that are not signaled by those keywords are not going to be interested in reading, okay? So that is the first line of copy. The second line of copy is a general accusation, which starts usually by most people think, or most entrepreneurs think, or most entrepreneurs believe, all right? Or most business owners think, or most realtors believe. That's a general accusation. So in this case, I'm saying, if you want to get better at advertising, you need to change the way you shave. Most people think that advertising is hard, mostly because they've tried either to do it themselves or they hire an agency to do the heavy lifting. If you don't know how advertising works, it's really hard to make it work by hiring somebody else. Your business is just not ready for it. Okay, so that is like the general accusation right there. So here's what most people are doing, and here's why we're different. So in this case, this goes against common sense. Again, general accusation. People think that if they put an ad on social media, buyers will run to their stores. Problem with digital advertising is that it's different from any other type of marketing, blah, 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 you know? So basically you're saying, this is what most people think, this is what I do. And then you segue into the story, how you realize that that was the wrong way of thinking. So in this case, for most of my life, I had this mindset. I've just placed a few ads somewhere and expect people to come to me in hordes, blah, 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 right? So on this other example, one thing I've learned after spending $7 million last year, that great advertising consists of some really specific strategies. So your segue into the story, right? How do you figure that out? That is the wrong thing to do, okay? So this is a general accusation. Then we segue into the story, and then what the story showed you. What is the teaching that you learned from that story, right? So this is all story. It took me almost 10 years to realize this. I didn't know that it would take me 18 months. Story. Fast forward to today, and then what changed, right? So this is all the story. What changed? The fact that I can now write ads that compel people to click opt-in and buy. So that's what changed. So in this case, this is all story. Let's see. Okay, so in this case, I got the first positive reaction to my ads. What changed? So what changed? I use it a lot, right? I figured out how the machine works, boom, 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 and then it goes into the teaching. So as you can see, this is all teaching. So images, message, action, boom. Right? So this is all teaching. And I suggest you guys use your advertising to teach something. Because if you're going after this long form copy, then my suggestion is that you use it to create goodwill in your marketplace. We're going to talk about videos in a second, but that is something that you want to actually use your ads for. Okay? So we go into the teaching, and then we have benefits. right? So in this case, we have, I hope this helps you. I hope this helps you. Did you find this valuable? Then I have some excellent news for you. I put together a no-cost training showing you benefit, 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 benefit. You can register here, which is the last step, which is a call to action, right? In this case, I should say, let's say, boom, 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 boom. If you're interested in learning more about these frameworks, I've just launched a new workshop called Perfect Ads, benefit, 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 and then call to action, go here. Okay, so here's a copy framework which you can actually go ahead and kind of use for your own stuff, and with the steps, the 6 steps. So again, relevant pattern interrupt, which is, on this example, I put something like, what if you could ditch your skincare routine? Like, how would I ditch my skincare routine? You know, like, what if I could ditch my skincare routine? We're talking to people that have a skincare routine, right? So on Facebook, you will target people that like skincare and, you know, and soft skin and beautiful skin and all of that. And then you would say, hey, what if you could ditch your skincare routine? So start thinking about pattern interrupts that are specific to your framework, to your marketplace, okay? General accusation, again, most people think that they need a complicated routine to take care of their skin. Story, I used to think the same. It would take me hours. Teaching, that was until I found with only 30 minutes, I could have the perfect facial every 30 days. And then I go into the teaching. Benefits, so if you're ready to get the same benefits, but it's just 30 minutes, the call to action, click here to book your consultation today. Okay, so this is, again, something that you will find in the bonus section of the members area. So you can make a copy for this and you can actually start writing this type of ads. And again, it will take you anywhere between, I don't know, it doesn't take me less than maybe 1,500 words to build this out. But once you get in the groove of telling your story and the teaching, then you will see how everything comes together, okay? All right, so let's keep moving forward. So I hope that this helps. This framework is really, you know, it's really powerful.